Hi, I'm Kezia, owner of Vintage Crafty Girl. Today I'm going to show you how to make organic soap with just a few simple ingredients.
Today I'm working on a special order of all organic soap. I call it my cocoa butter soap, and the whole process takes a couple days because the soap has to set. But first we're going to get the lye down to temperature, because when you take lye from a solid state to a liquid state, it does have a very high temperature, going to about 180 degrees. So you need to bring that temperature down so that you can mix it with the oils and then go ahead and emulsify it. I do recommend taking the lye outside to mix with the water. You'll need a pair of gloves. I recommend these thin neoprene gloves. You'll also need a thermometer because the temperature will rise to about 180 degrees and you want to bring it back down to about 120. If you want to make organic soap with lard or oils, you can find most of the oils in your local grocery store. I picked some of this up at Aldi, some at Publix. I did have to order the cocoa butter on Amazon. So I have my lye here in a container. I'm going to put the water in a stainless steel pot. And then I'm going to add the lye to the water, and it's going to heat up pretty quickly. I'm going to stir it in to get it to dissolve. Stick it to the bottom a little bit. I might have put too much at once. It's dissolving. There's something floating in there. And we're going to check the temperature. This is pretty amazing. Let's see here. It's pretty hot. It's 176 degrees. And that's one of the reasons that you do want to wear gloves, because you don't want to get a chemical burn. So we'll let that sit, and we want that to cool down to a maximum of 120 degrees and no less than 100 degrees. While the lye cools, I have measured the oils and I'm about to combine them and then heat them up. And then we're going to have to let that cool back down to 120 degrees as well. While I patiently wait for these to cool, I learned a lesson. When it's cooler outside and you're cooling off your lye, you may want to go ahead and mix and heat the oils first, because the lye cooled too fast and dropped below 100 degrees before the oils decreased below 120. So I had to remix the batch of lye.
Okay, so I have combined the lye solution and the oils, and I'm just going to transfer it into this larger bowl because the pot that I chose was just not big enough. So I want to get all this goodness in there. And some people just stir it by hand. I tried this once before, and after hours and hours of stirring and no emulsification, I did some further reading and discovered it is better to use a hand blender. So you really want to get those oils in that lye mixture to stick together, and this is the best way that I found. So I'm going to put it in there. Hopefully I won't make a mess. Well, there it is. This particular loaf doesn't have any fragrance or colorant added. It does smell like cocoa butter, which is really nice, and it turns out pretty silky. That buttery color that you see now will lighten almost to a white. If you do want to add fragrance, I recommend doing it during the emulsification process. You can also add the color at the same time, or if you wanted to do some sort of design, you can add it while it's in the loaf itself. This particular soap is smooth at the top. If you wanted to have a more of a peaked effect on one side of the soap, you can blend it just a little bit longer, and that will thicken the soap a little bit more. Now we'll let this sit for at least 24 hours, and then we'll take it out of the silicone mold and we'll cut it, and it makes about 9 or 10 4 to 5 ounce bars. The big question is, what are you going to put into your soap? What kind of oils? How much lye are you going to put into your soap? There's an excellent website called the-sage.com that will calculate the lye for you. I have taken the loaf out of the silicone mold and put it in this wood block, and now I'm going to cut the soap. I have 2 cutters here. I got this kit off of Amazon. You can have either a rigid edge or a flat edge. For this one, I'm going to do the flat edge. I'm going to try to stay pretty consistent. It's not exact science. Just press down. It's a little soft in the middle, so the piece is coming up with me. This tray for another 24 hours before I package it. It's been about 24 hours and the soap has hardened. It will continue to harden as it ages. This soap has about 50% olive oil in it, so it's one of the harder soaps. You probably, in your formula, don't want to go more than 50%. You could do all olive oil if you really wanted to, but my recommendation is no more than 50%.
Now I'm going to package the soap, and I will drop it off this morning to its new owner. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comments below, and thank you for subscribing.